day today because I had your fellow coworker Gordon Damer on before. So
I tuned in. I checked out a little bit of it. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast today, and it'll be awesome. And so what's
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't take it lightly, man. Love to come on and chop it up.
Yeah. So I just how are you guys doing? How's your family, your kids, and your wife doing during this situation?
Thanks for asking, man. Everybody's fine. We're all here. I'm home, and we're, I guess it's technically spring break right now. So, we're just hanging out. But it's, under all things considered, under the circumstances, we're doing good, man. How about your family?
Yeah, we're doing good. Just trying to stay active. We built a mini gym in my basement, so I've been keeping up with the workouts. Yeah, and then working on this podcast. So I've been busy because I got more interviews lined up for this week. And last week I interviewed like 6-7 people, so I'm keeping busy with the podcast. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. So people call you Kyrie, right, or Kai Williams? Was it?
Yeah, well, my name is Kyrie Williams, but Kai Will for short, nickname or what have you. But Kai, everybody just calls me Kai.
There's people. So I gotta bring this up. The people confuse think it's the real Kyrie on the ESPN. You see sometimes.
It's funny. Once when Larry David came on a Michael Kay show, or the day before rather, Peter and I, Rosenberg, were talking about it because I'm a Larry David fan too, and Peter and I were talking about it, and then Peter kind of brought the conversation to the air the next day, and Michael Kay, who's awesome, who I get blessed to see all the time, he was like, Peter was saying, I was talking to Kyrie about it. He was like, oh wait, Kyrie Irving? No.
Oh man. Yeah, so speaking of the ESPN crew, me and my friends, we always go out to these charity events, the 98.7 ESPN charity events, and they do a great job with the softball stuff. And I don't think we haven't met you in person yet, but we met Ty Butler and the other producers on the ESPN show. But I just want to ask you, what's it like working with them every day? And obviously you're working from home now, but when you go into the studio, how's it like working with Anita Marks and obviously Michael Kay, Donna Greca, Chris Canty, and all the Gordon Damer, and all these? Yeah.
Everybody's awesome, man. One thing that I can say in totality, to answer your question, I everybody's great. I enjoy working with everybody, the talent, the producers, right on down to the promotion, everybody that works in the building. But one thing that can be said about what we do, when you work with people that genuinely enjoy and love and are passionate about what they do, it always makes it easier because everybody, there's good days and bad days. I'm sure everybody has, their day or their time when, they feel better or worse than others. But for the most part, it's awesome because everybody is passionate about what they do. We all love what we do. Everybody loves sports. Everybody loves, entertainment and everything that comes along with working within the media.
Right. So the viewers who just joined, if you don't mind, what got you interested in the sports industry and the sports business, and who was your role model when you went through like this broadcasting school or whatever you did?
Well, I love sports. Obviously, I have a passion for hip hop and sports. That's my main two things. And I'll answer in reverse. I'll answer your last question first. As far as a role model, somebody that I always look to is Angie Martinez, legendary hip hop voice in New York. From Hot 97.
She's the best.
Yeah, and times like this, I really look back because I remember I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and she was on the air, man. Mm-hmm. When so many people couldn't even get to work or get around in the city, she got down there and she was on the air and she was talking to people and she was doing basically what we've been doing for weeks now, providing that public service to the listeners and just to the entire tri-state area, and even. Obviously, before that, I was a fan of hers, but from then on, I've been like an Angie stan. But as far as me getting into the media, and working at ESPN, it kind of started. I'm like what you're doing right now, man. I had my own podcast. I was working on podcasts. I was working on video blogs. I was doing all these different things, and I was actually living in Central Connecticut. My family, my wife was up there going to school, and I was hustling, man, doing my thing, and then an opportunity came up where I got to work at the mothership, as we call it, in Bristol, producing podcasts.
Yeah.
That, to be honest with you, entirely changed my life. I actually, a good friend of mine from the Levitar show, Anthony Caladiu, was on the Levitar show. He and I were talking yesterday, and he and we started at the same time, and we kind of sat in this little corner cubicle behind the Golden Wingo Studios, and we would sit there till 6-7 o'clock at night sometimes, just talking and just saying, like, I'm a kid from New Jersey, you're a kid from Miami, we're both in Connecticut, but how awesome would it be if we could take this, what we're doing, take this knowledge that we're obtaining, and take it back home and do something big. And so far, we were just saying yesterday, I'm just so proud to say that, that's exactly what's happening. It's the best feeling in the world. But yeah, it wasn't your traditional route, I'd say. I didn't graduate from any big, media program or anything, or no Northwestern or anything like that. I just hustled, man.
Yeah, that's a inspiring story right there. So speaking of hip hop, every time I do my workouts, I listen to hip hop. Who's your favorite hip hop artist?
Oh man, I mean, we got to break this thing down, because are you talking all time? Or are you talking right now?
First, let's talk about all time first.
All time favorite artists. I toggle back and forth with this a lot, because it may be cliche, but I love Jay-Z and I love Nas. For a lot of different reasons. But as where I sit today, on this day, I have to say that, Jay-Z is all time my favorite artist of all time.
Yeah, for me, from all time, it's I agree. I would agree with you there. But my all time favorite, rest in peace Biggie, rest in peace Tupac, both of them.
Sure.
They're like speaking of going back, they're going back. So that's all time right there for me. Biggie, especially Biggie being from Brooklyn and representing that area, and it's just an honor to listen to his music. But and also, who is your current favorite hip hop artist?
Currently, I'm really. It still kind of scatters between different people. I mean, right up until and after he passed away, Nipsey was definitely somebody that I listened to a lot for the inspiration, the hustle. I think that he embodied a lot of what people like us, like yourself, I'm sure what we do is like, striving for more and hustling and being optimistic and all those type of things. I like J-Rock. I mean, from TDE, his album was crazy. But I mean, I guess if I had to pick on my favorite, as I'm going round and around with these answers,
right,
J. Cole is definitely somebody that I would say is my favorite right now.
Yeah, that's J. Cole. For me, it's like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Tory Lanez, Drake, Meek Mill.
Not the Tory. Tory is doing a public service with his quarantine radio too.
I love that. I joined yesterday. That's crazy. No, I didn't join the live, but I joined. I was commenting pretty much the whole time. He's the only one who's keeping us entertained right now. So. Okay. But so let's get to some like sports topics here. Since obviously there's no sports going on, but we can still talk about sports. That's why all the guests I've been having on, I've been coming. I don't, for me and my older friends who does podcasts, especially for me, I don't write down questions. I come up with questions top of my head. So because I feel like it will take more time if you look at the book. For me, I need to learn by mind. So. Yeah,
and that's good. Some of the people that I've had the pleasure and honor of working with or producing with, some of the best interviews that I've seen come from just the flow of the conversation. Right. Not that you shouldn't be prepared. There's nothing wrong with being prepared, but sometimes it's best when you just let the conversation flow.
Yeah. So speaking of sports, who's your favorite sports teams?
Basketball is the Nets, Brooklyn Nets, but they will always be the New Jersey Nets to me. big Giants fan, big time Giants fan. And baseball, Alan Hahn always gets on me about this. I'm a Atlanta Braves fan.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Speaking of the Brave, man, we'll get to that. But the Braves have really good. They're going to be a dangerous team in the years to come. I'm telling you, man. You guys have good talent in the team. But let's start with the Brooklyn Nets here. I mean, on Thursday, I'm having Christian Winfield, the reporter.
Yeah. Is he from? Yes. No, he's not.
No, he's an NBA senior writer.
Yeah.
He covers the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, so he does a good job posting videos of KD's progress of his Achilles. Yeah. So I'm having him on Thursday on the show. So awesome. Yeah. So but
talk to Michael Grady too.
Michael Grady, yeah. And Sarah Kusov, I don't want to forget about Kusov. Sarah.
Oh yeah. Underrated, man. She knows X and O. I mean, shout to Doris Burke. Shout to Jackie Mack, one of the legends when it comes to basketball. But don't sleep on her. She knows her stuff, man. I love her broadcast, especially with Richard Jefferson's crazy ass.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
and Ryan Rucco, shout to Rooks.
Oh, Rucco too. He's the best, man. Ryan Rucco is the best when it comes to play-by-play calling. He's the best at that. But yeah. So speaking of, so obviously you consider them the New Jersey Nets, but what was your reaction? Let's talk about. So what was your reaction when they moved from New Jersey to Brooklyn?
Well, honestly, I was indifferent about it, and here's why. Because before they moved to Brooklyn, they played downtown in Newark for a while at the Prudential Center, which was awesome. And for me, I would have loved that they could have stayed in Newark, and they would have been right down the street from me. I live not too far from the Rock, and but at the same time, I kind of know a little bit anyway. I'm not on the board or anything, but I do know that area on Atlantic Ave is somewhere where they wanted I think that's where they wanted to put the Dodger Stadium years ago. And I mean, it's downtown Brooklyn. We see what it's become, and the Nets have been there for a while, but it's continuing to grow and blossom. So I wish they were still in Jersey. At the time, I was a little salty about it, but more than anything, I was indifferent because I knew I was going to remain a Nets fan. Unlike a lot of my boys here in Jersey, a lot of people stopped liking the team after they moved.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I'm a New York Knicks fan. Unfortunately, so we're going through the rough patch right now. But yeah. But aren't the Nets are actually, being in Brooklyn now, they're getting more attraction with the free agents they've been getting. And let's start for example, when they got Darren Williams. Let's talk about Darren Williams here, because I feel like no one gives him that much respect as a point guard. So what was your reaction when he got traded from Utah to your team, and then what has he meant to the Brooklyn Nets and New Jersey Nets?
Well, I mean, like you said, when he was in Utah, I think it was him and Carlos Boozer at the time, and I watched them. They were a team to watch. They had a great chemistry. And when he came to the Nets, I was excited because in my mind, just as a fan, and sometimes we can be delusional, I automatically thought, this is like Jason Kidd all over again. This is gonna be the same type of chemistry. We're gonna build the same type of team, and it was a good team. We made the playoffs. I don't think that people really give, to your point, Darren Williams, credit for what he did during those, mid 2000s, that team. But at the same time, I think Darren Williams being there and the great work that he did was overshadowed because, like a lot of teams in the NBA during that time, and some even still currently, we had a horrible owner, man. We had people that were making horrible decisions. Shout to Garnett, but some of those trades, some of those acquisitions were horrible. The way they were spending money, it really means a lot. And I liken it to what you see in a very short amount of time. What's going on with the Clippers? Like Ballmer takes over, a couple years ago, and already, the Clippers were strongly considered to be a championship team this season. So ownership means a lot. But to answer your question, I think Darren Williams did phenomenal for us, as much as could be expected. You had LeBron James playing in Miami. I think, I think Melo was still in New York at that time. It was not our division to take. So all things considered, D Will, shout out to D Will, man. And Waves, my man Waves was spinning too. Don't ever forget that.
Wait, who?
Darren Williams Waves.
Oh, Waves. Yeah. So obviously now, So Darren Williams, the first piece here, because I felt like you needed that one-star player that can help gain more attraction for other free agents, and Darren Williams did that, and obviously you had Billy King as a GM. I wouldn't say he did a good job, but not a fantastic job, but. He got Joe Johnson for you guys. He built a pretty good quality team.
Clutch Joe, baby. Mm-hmm.
Joe Johnson, and then and now and then also that confusing. I don't want to. Obviously, we're talking about the past here, but what was the reaction with this confusing trade when you guys got Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry?
I hated it.
Yeah,
I hated it, man. I wasn't. I didn't like it then. I'm not gonna say I hated it then. I didn't like it then because I felt like we were doing something that other franchises do just for the name. But in hindsight, I hate it because it did nothing but set us back a couple years.
Yeah. So now going now to the current Nets, but now you have a new GM, Sean Marks, that's more active, and he's really good at building structure, especially coming from the Spurs, where they have they want right players to fit the team, and Sean Marks is doing exactly that. Like the things he's done in the last 2-3 years he's been there, and by getting D'Angelo Russell, building his talent up, and then D'Angelo. Speaking of Russell, man, he's another one that doesn't get enough respect. When he was in Brooklyn, he fit Kenny Atkinson's system. What did you think of him as a player when he was there?
He was incredible. He was great, man. He was a great player. He kind of not I don't mean any malice by this, but he kind of rose from the dead, from his career, where it went, where it was. And another guy, another point guard, playoff bound team. We definitely had a run, but not a run. We got eliminated. We got a gentleman sweep, but he did phenomenal. But I understand it because it's like even with the injuries and even with some of the other baggage that comes with it. I mean, you get an opportunity to get Kyrie Irving. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So. Obviously, we'll get to the Kyrie and KD stuff, but what was your reaction when they got rid of Kenny Atkinson? Because I feel like that was a puzzling move to me.
I was so confused because I went to that game against the Spurs that Friday night. I was there. We blew the Spurs out. Like, we embarrassed them on our home court. I thought that the team looked great. Spencer Dinwiddie had a great game. I think was Karras back? I think Karras was back because a couple of days before he had that breakout game against the Celtics. So Jared Allen played great. I woke up the next morning, that Saturday morning, and I saw that he was fired, and I was just confused. I still don't really get it. I still really don't fully understand why we let him go. And then, of course, a couple of days later, everything happened that's going on right now. So I never really got a chance to really kind of do my due diligence and investigate that. But I think Kenny was a great coach. I think he still is a great coach. I think he'll land on his feet when we all get back going with this, when this is all said and done. And, I think he'll do great somewhere else.
I think here's my prediction for Kenny Atkinson. I think he's going to end up with the Knicks as the next head coach because we need a coach that can help develop young players, and we're still in the patch where the years of rebuilding. So I feel like he can help us out there. But for you guys, I feel like I don't know. It's too early to tell who's going to be the next head coach. But I think for you guys, you need someone that can coach up Kyrie and KD. You need a veteran coach that can help coach Kyrie and KD and keep them in the right mindset, because I feel like some of these doubters are saying that this won't work out too. Kyrie and KD won't mesh together, but I feel like they will with the right coach. So I feel like that I'm not going to say anything, but I feel like I'm throwing outside of the box things. I'm saying Greg Popovich.
I've been hearing that it's not crazy and it's not out of the realm of possibility. Actually, I think Bobby Marks was one of the people that even hinted or suggested that. I think that would be great. I would love to have a team of KD and Kyrie and Karras and Jared and Spencer and all these guys, coached by Greg Popovich. I think even the optics won't be too hard because they both wear black and white, black and gray. Gritty teams, I think that'd be awesome. Regardless of who we get, I mean, obviously, I agree with you. I think we need somebody that has experience with superstars and coaching up, a team of this caliber. But regardless of who we get, I just want us to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. Injuries have plagued. I mean, obviously, KD was injured before he got here, but injuries have plagued us this season between Kyrie and Karras and Jared. DJ. Was it?
DeAndre Jordan. Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan wasn't hurt, but he's not been healthy either. So more than anything than a coach, I just want us to remain healthy.
Yeah. So I feel what's it called? What was I gonna say? Oh, so with the Karis LeVert, man. Speaking of him, I'm gonna ask. I have a question about him later on, but. So, do you think obviously there's no season? If the season comes back, do you see KD and Kyrie? I mean, obviously Kyrie has a shoulder issue, but with this long layoff, do you see this as a positive way for the Nets? Because they're fighting for the playoffs. Actually, if they go right to the playoffs, they'll be in the playoffs.
17.
Yeah. So, do you see KD and Kyrie coming back for the playoffs? Or
it's hard to say. I don't think so. I mean, the fact that not only with the Achilles injury, but the fact that KD tested positive for COVID, and I think it was some other. I don't know if they were ever named. Some other Nets players that tested positive. All of the uncertainty that surrounds that and the injuries. Even if we did come and did some type of, if we jumped right into the playoffs or we made some type of, run. I don't see them coming back, and I don't necessarily want them to come back. I would rather us do what the plan was from the beginning and just start KD with Kyrie in the 2021 season.
Yeah.
And start fresh. But more than anything, and I mean, this might sound cliche, but it's true, and it should be everybody's mind state. I just want everything to be good before the season starts back.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you there. Obviously, you need. For me, with you guys, but Karis LeVert, man, I think he's your third star on the team. Karis LeVert, he can ball out. Coming from Michigan, and the injuries he had, what an inspiring story. The way he came back from the other. What was it, like an ACL injury or not? Was it ACL injury?
Let me see. Okay.
I don't want to get this wrong, but
let me see.
Yeah, but what's your take on Karis LeVert as a player?
I think he's Karis LeVert is an awesome player. He's an awesome scorer, but even more so than that, I think he knows how to play the game of basketball. Like, he knows his role and what his job is on the floor at all times. I think the couple games that we did get to see with him playing off Spencer was phenomenal, because you saw two guys that both can score in clutch opportunities, but they were unselfish. They played together. They played within the fabric of the team, and that showed me that he can do it with Spencer, who's somebody that, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be on the same level as him. I think that he can, do it even better with under the leadership of KD and Kyrie running the point. I think he's going to show himself to be everything that we believe that he's going to be, and more, because I don't even think he's reached his
Yeah, he's gonna. I feel like that he's gonna have multiple All-Stars in his career, championship in his belt.
I thought that Spencer should have got. I understand why, because there's so many great, worthy stars in this league right now. But I thought Spencer was worthy of the shot.
Yeah. So someone brought up a good idea here in the chat. Justin, he said that he wants Beal as a possible off-season target for the Nets, and he said he'll take LeVert as an option at the 3. So you'll have Kyrie, Beal, LeVert, KD, and DeAndre Jordan as your potential starting lineup, or you can go Jared Allen. What do you think of that possibility in the offseason? Probably getting another star like Beal or someone.
I haven't given it much thought. I mean, I respect the idea on the acquisition. I don't know what that would look like as far as financially or anything like that. I don't hate it. I think Bradley Beal is a really, really good player. I think, no shade, but I think he terrorized the Knicks this year. Every game I saw him drop like 45 and 50. I don't hate it, but more so than us gaining more pieces and more players and more personalities and more contracts, I really want to see what we can do once we build this current team. Mm-hmm. And it's too much uncertainty. We don't even know who's going to lead this regime. We don't know what coach we're going to have. So I want some, to use another cliche word, some normalcy. To set it before we start bringing more.
So Beal, obviously, I think it's time for the Wizards to trade Beal, but I think Beal needs to be in a different team because he deserves to win the championship. Bradley Beal is like a flat-out scorer, and he's a great player in the league. So if you guys can get him, watch out. If KD and Kyrie's healthy, oh my God, that team is going to be lethal. But, so switching over to football. So since you're a Giant fan, with the draft kind of coming up in April 23rd, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so sorry.
No. Well, I'll save that for later. But I got some questions about Dak Prescott.
But so with the virtual draft this year, April 23rd, we're going to experience something new, which is rare. But obviously, in a tough situation, they have to do this. But obviously, they can't see the prospects in person, so they've been doing FaceTime, Zoom calls, getting their ideas. And you guys, the Giants, obviously, you guys need defense or offensive line. So where do you see the Giants drafting? I know you guys have the 3rd pick, right? If I'm not mistaken, or 4th.
4th pick, yeah.
4th pick. Who? See, I think here's a thing that might not happen, but if it does happen, you guys need to take Chase Young.
I mean, that would be a absolute phenomenon if that could happen. I don't see it happening. All the mock drafts that I'm looking at, or the analysis that I'm hearing, is that the Redskins are not going to be stupid. They're going to take him at 2, and he's going to be a generational franchise-defining player. I mean, the Redskins are not a very smart organization historically, so we'll see if something happens. I'm hearing and I'm seeing Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, I believe. I wouldn't be mad at that. I'm just hoping that Dave Gettleman, whatever he does, because, I mean, a lot of people, including myself initially, although I worked with Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay a little bit last year, and Mel was on Daniel Jones from day one. When everybody was saying Dwayne Haskins because of the jersey ties, I believe he was from Highland Park, and some other names were popping around. Todd McShay was totally against Daniel Jones. Mel was steadfast, and he was right, and even more so than that. I mean, small sample size. So far, I'm not upset about Daniel Jones. I think that it was an unconventional, or nobody can really understand the pick at the time. Nobody really trusts Dave Gettleman to this day for legitimate reasons, me included. But so far in the draft, he's his picks have proven themselves to be okay. So I'm just hoping that whether it's Isaiah Simmons or whoever it is, it's somebody that makes sense to build this organization.
Right.
And of course, and Saquon. Of course, I can't forget Saquon.
Saquon Barkley, man, he's a real deal. I think, in my opinion, coming as a Cowboys fan, I don't like seeing him playing, but I respect him a lot.
Zeke.
Zeke is I don't know, but Zeke is good too. But he needs to get his mind right on this.
Yeah.
But So we have my Cowboys are the 17th pick, and we have. There's a lot of things they can do because I feel like this draft is more deep this year than any other draft with the receiver class and defensive back, running back. So I don't know. Where do you think? I mean, obviously Dallas needs. I think we're pretty much set, but we just need to fill a couple more holes in the team. But where do you see him going in the 17th pick? Receiver, defense.
I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I know that I believe it was the center that just retired.
Oh, Travis Frederick, yeah.
Yeah, I know that a lot of Dallas's magic over the past 3 or 4 years has come with that phenomenal offensive line. So I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I would like to think that the Jones family needs to make sure that they just keep that O-line solidified. You got a quarterback that you believe in. My son's trying to go. you have a generation. Thanks, buddy. It's water.
Oh, that's a good son.
You have Zeke. Oh yeah, I like that. Good job, buddy. You have Cooper. So I think you just need to work on that line and make sure that line is solidified.
Yeah, I agree there. You said you have some Dak questions?
No, I was just mentioning about the whole
the party thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was thinking over there. And TMZ, man, it's like they get stuff quickly out there, and Dak needs to be more professional about this, especially during this tough situation. I know, I know that it's probably his close friends or family, but still, you don't invite people in the same house with 30 people or whatever he had, and then the food and everything, touching everything. I don't really. It seems like my Cowboys are always in the news.
I mean, historically, that's true. So
yeah, but I don't. Let me ask you this though. I asked Gordon Damer this, but do you believe Dak Prescott is worth $40 million?
You know what? I think that he's proven himself to be worth. He's worth a competitive contract in the class that he's in. Here's the thing, and I've talked to Anita Marks about this, who agree with me. I've talked to Dave Rothenberg, who disagrees with me. Chris Canty a lot. Everybody in between. But Dominique Foxworth said something last summer that stuck with me when Zeke was holding out. Mm-hmm. And it's the whole thing that, nice guys finish last. And the Jones family, in his opinion, and I kind of adopted this belief too, they're only going to pay Dak if he asserts himself to say, no, you got to pay me, similar to what Zeke did. He might not have to hold out and go to Cabo for, a month or two. But, I said it then, and I say it now. I don't see them paying him unless he, for lack of a better term, puts his balls on the table and says, look, it's either you pay me or I'm going to start, having my agent exercise other options. Because in the business of sports, in the business of media, and in this in this business that we live in, people aren't going to pay you if they feel like they don't have to. If they feel like that's the same the same argument that we hear right now with Saquon. Mm-hmm. People are saying with Christian McCaffrey, not people. I'll be transparent about it. Chris Carlin is saying that with CMC getting this big deal. Saquon is gonna and his people are gonna be asking for the same deal, and I agree. I do think that they're gonna be asking for that deal, and I think that if they sit back and and say, I'm just gonna let everybody figure it out. I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna be this team guy. Which there's nothing wrong with that. You should be the team guy. It's admirable to be the team guy, but to Marcus Spears and a lot of different people's, point in this business, in this game, it's a business. It's a business side. And you have to be about your business. And you have to, especially somebody like Jerry Jones. And I mean this in the most flattering and respectful way. Jerry Jones is a gangster.
he's all about the media.
Yeah, and if he can keep Dak Prescott and not have to pay him all that money, and if he can just get away with it, he's gonna do that. He's gonna, like Leo Cohen, and I'm no big Leo Cohen guy, but big music executive. They said it was about Irv Gotti, and I'm just using this as an analogy. He said, when did you give Irv Gotti his record label and let him take all these artists and do these phenomenal things that he did in music? He said, I let him have it when he came in my office and took it. Because these people and these executives, in my opinion, if it means anything, are only going to give you what you demand and what you feel like you're worth. And if you just sit around and go along to get along and think that somebody's just going to offer you something and give you something, that's not how this business works, and that's not how the world works. So that's my long-winded way of answering your question by saying I think that Dak is worth it. I think he deserves it. I think he's had a phenomenal career thus far. Nothing but love for Dak Prescott. But I think until he demands and says, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to take, they're never going to give him anything.
Facts. I agree. Facts. A couple of things before I let you go. First, I have some rapid fire questions for you. Okay. Do you think your Braves will win in the next 2 years, the World Series?
No. I will be so happy. I will be phenomenally happy. But I was so let down in the playoffs this year with that embarrassing loss. I think we lost like 12-1 or 12-0. I was so pissed off watching that game that I kind of I haven't even found. I obviously have the app. I get the updates. I see what's going on, but I'm still so. I just feel so burned by that loss last season in the playoffs that I don't have faith that they're going to win the World Series in the next 2 years. Great team, to your point, and great team, man. It's young, they're growing, and they're hungry.
Favorite food?
I can eat pizza any day.
Pizza.
Jersey or New York pizza, though. Not anywhere pizza. Jersey or New York.
Favorite thing to do outside of sports?
Oh, man. Besides, being with my wife and being with my kids, man, listening to good hip hop, which I was blessed to do on Saturday night with Primo and the RZA that did that battle on Instagram Live, which was phenomenal, man. God, I stayed up all night watching that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So watching Instagram Lives would be one of them?
I mean, any medium that I can consume hip hop, it could be Instagram Live, it could be, if they bring Video Music Box back, I don't care. Anything. That's what I'm doing, man. I'm consuming some hip hop.
How is it like working with the great Peter Rosenberg?
That's my dog, man. I love Peter, man. I was just texting with Peter earlier. People give Peter crap. I guess he's like a polarizing kind of guy. More people love him than not, I would think. But one thing I can say about Peter Rosenberg, without getting too deep into it, a lot of the things that I've been able to do thus far, and work and whatever my career, Peter Rosenberg has helped me, man, and I'm not ashamed or afraid to say that. He's a phenomenal guy. Yeah, I love that guy. Man.
Yeah, me and my friends, we met him a couple times at the events, and we met Rosenberg at the events, and he's a cool guy in person. Man, I respect him a lot, and right now, obviously, he's doing a show right now with the Michael K show. Give a shout out. I just want to give a shout out to Peter Rosenberg and the Michael K show, man. They do a great job, and for Peter Rosenberg to do 2 shows in one day is amazing. First, Hot 97 hip hop with Laura Styles, the Old Man Ebro. I love them too. I love the Hot 97 crew. So that's it.
I'll tell you, I'm a fill-in board op producer for the Steve Harvey Morning Show on WBLS in the mornings. And one thing about WBLS, it's literally right across the hall from Hot 97.
Right.
You could almost reach out from one studio and reach into the other. And one thing I can say about that morning show, unlike any show, and I have the pleasure to work in and around a lot of different shows. It's the most fun you ever hear at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like those guys, Shawnee, Laura, of course, Ebro, Juanito, and producer Griff, everybody that's involved in that show, they're a great time, man. They're great people. I just like looking out the window. I'm listening to Steve and what he's doing and producing the show, and I'm looking like, oh man, I want to go over there.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be checking that out too. Every morning, since you're home, you guys don't do anything right now, or?
No, not over there. I'm right now. Besides some of the other things that I do, some of the other freelance stuff that I work on. I'm currently just working at ESPN every day. I'm preparing for the Chris Carlin show right now.
Oh, okay.
All my Nets fans, Rich Kleiman is going to be in at 9 o'clock, so you might want to listen to that at 9 o'clock tonight. Rich Kleiman is going to be.
Nice.
He's going to co-host the entire hour, so that's going to be awesome. And of course, Larry Hardesty and Gordon Damer. I'll be sitting right in this chair producing their show in a couple hours too. So
nice. Yeah. So speaking of Carlin, I'm trying to get him on the podcast too. So I messaged him on Instagram, and he looked at it, but he didn't answer. But if you don't mind, can you ask him or find out? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, and then now, so every guest I've been having on this podcast, I want different perspective on what Kobe meant to them. So, what did Kobe mean to you? Kobe's legacy, and as a person, as a player, and he's one of my role models. So I'm trying to get people's different perspective on him. One of my role models growing up.
Kobe Bryant, and I'm going to be honest, I was not a fan of Kobe for during his early playing years, because I was a big Allen Iverson fan. I was an Allen Iverson guy, and I was a Nets fan. So, the Lakers, they beat the Sixers that year. They made that Allen carried them to the championship, and then they swept us. I was there in the swamp when they swept us. But that aside, man, I'm just like everybody, man. I'm so inspired by Kobe Bryant. It's like what he did while he was playing basketball, of course, but even more so, seeing and hearing so much that he did after he stopped playing, and the family man. Like, I aspire to be a family man the way he was. And one thing, my most recent Kobe memory, if you will, was this past summer during the U.S. Open. I was watching, before it was Coco Gauff. I forgot who she was going on. I think it was Naomi Osaka. But anyway, Kobe Bryant came on the broadcast, for the pre-match to talk about one of the books that he had written. And I was sitting there with my son, and then we had this big, like one of those big tennis balls, but it's like a beach ball type of thing. So we were throwing it back and forth, and I was sitting there and I was telling my son, this is Kobe Bryant, he used to play basketball, but now he's writing books for kids and all this. And I don't know, man, it was weird because I couldn't turn away from it. Like, I was hanging on every word that Kobe was saying. And that was the first time I really looked at Kobe. Me personally, I know he had won the Oscar and all that, and I didn't pay much attention to much of the things that he was doing after his career. But that interview, I was like, wow, this guy is awesome, man. Like, Kobe is becoming something otherworldly in a great way. And then when I got the news, I was working. It was like a Sunday, so I was working at the station, and I had got from TMZ, just like everybody else. I saw the information, and I didn't know quite what to do. But I called, the assignment desk back at Bristol, and I was asking these guys, what should we do? What's going on? Me and another guy, really one's in the studio, and is this true? Like, so then they kind of told us, like, we're not going to report on it. We're not going to, break the news just yet until we get the final clearance. But yeah, this is what happened, and I just got sadness. Like, I just got immense, like a cringing pain, because, like I just told you, I was never a Kobe fan, or I wasn't really a big Kobe guy. A lot of my friends were, maybe that's part of it too. Maybe because you kind of just go against some of your friends, but you could tell when great people like Kim Parrish, especially after I had seen him in a different light on that U.S. Open broadcast. I got it right in that moment that, wow, man, we just lost a great one. And then just hearing all the outpouring of love just solidified that.
Yeah, well said over there. And then what do you like? The last thing is, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people, the medical personnel that's helping us right now during this whole situation?
Thank you. I'm in a position where I screen phone calls for these shows, and these people call every night, from EMT workers to transit workers, healthcare professionals, even people that just work like a Con Ed guy, somebody that and cable providers, all these people, especially people like electricians and cable providers, aside from, of course, the medical professionals, because all of us that do this thing where we work from home, if the internet's not and the Wi-Fi is not popping, things like this, we can't do this either. So I want to say thank you, straight up and down.
Yeah, so I'll be posting this interview in all social media formats. So I just want to say thank you, Kyrie, for joining my podcast today. It's been a pleasure. You do a great job as always as a producer. Keep up the great work, and also everyone go follow Kyrie on Twitter, Instagram, and go. He does right as we speak. He's preparing for the Carlin show, so he's multitasking. So everyone go follow him, and I just want to say I have a couple of inspiring interviews coming up this week, and also tune in on Monday if you don't mind, because Monday I'm having Dante Green on the show, the basketball player. Yeah, so he's coming on Monday, and I think he played for you guys for a little bit, right? Dante Green?
I'm not sure. I have to look.
Yeah, so
I'll definitely tune in. I'm definitely going to tune in on Thursday because I want to hear some good Nets talk.
Yeah. So, but thank you again for coming. You guys stay safe. Your family, your wife, kids, stay safe, and enjoy the show tonight. And let me know what Chris Collins says.
I got you. I'm gonna email him right now.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
Peace.